Hi, and thanks for joining me for another episode of Heaven Rules All. And even in the name, Heaven Rules All, it's true. We may think down on this earth that somehow through power and money that we rule heaven and earth and all its inhabitants, but that is never true and it will never be true. Okay, I want to make a couple of things straight before I get started today. A lot of people who hear these messages will think, oh, well, this lady's just another one of those black people who hate white people, who think they're all bad and evil. And a lot of people who read my book might get that first impression also. But let me explain something to you. God makes a difference between the righteous and the unrighteous. Of course, he's merciful on all of us, but he makes a difference. And that means it doesn't matter whether you're white or black or Indian or Asian. If you seek God with your whole heart, whether you claim to be a perfect Christian or not, God separates you into a different group, a different category. When we say European Gentiles or use the word whites, we're not referring to the whole race. We're not encompassing and broad brushing the whole race. We're talking about the defiant, unrepented people in power of the white race who, of course you already know, who, basically rules authority over most of the countries of the world. We're talking about those people who, because they've not been repentant of their past atrocities and sins, they continue to make more troubles and hardships on all humanity. So the rest of the people, whites who love God, who love their brothers, who don't have hatred in their heart, you are totally separate from the people that we discuss sometimes on this video. Okay, we got that out of the way. Okay, just like there's a heaven and a hell, there's going to be a difference made between the righteous and the unrighteous. And even when America goes through the tribulation that she's going to go through, God is going to make a difference between those who seek him with their whole heart and who are servants of the Most High. It doesn't matter if they're white, black, Indian, and Asian, or Spanish. He's making a difference between those and the others who, through oppression, wickedness, hatred, and the robbing of the poor, will be a difference. Okay, so we'll move on from now. I want to talk specifically today to African Americans because we need to get the truth just as much as everyone else. And it's because we don't accept the truth also that we're in this sort of limbo, fighting and fussing with the white man as if he's our end all and be all. And if he doesn't do something for us or doesn't give us what we want, then, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. First of all, that is totally not true. The problem with us is we have not taken that turn in the road. When you're traveling down the highway and you know your cutoff is coming, the turn that you're supposed to make, you're going too fast and you miss it. And so you have to go out of your way, be upset for a while because you didn't make that turn. Okay, it's the same way with the African Americans. We, a long time ago, should have made a right turn onto the path that God pre-planned for us. He didn't plan for us to spend more than 400 years here. After 400 years, the time prescribed for our disobedience, witchcraft, and following the Gentiles, Euro-Gentiles, was over. We were supposed to make preparations to leave this land. However, we didn't. We instead decided to look for our own futures in this country by, working, getting degrees. We thought that would curtail the oppression and the lack. But God told us in Deuteronomy, his people would never be at peace, would never be at rest in this country. So I don't quite understand why African Americans still don't understand what's going on. It's not about what the white man is doing. It's about what we're not doing. We're not preparing an exodus from this country, which God is going to bring destruction on. He said it in his word, and his word doesn't lie in the book of Isaiah. Okay, so that means groups like the NAACP, the time has passed. This begging for pieces of bread and crumbs from the white man's table, the Euro-Gentiles table, is illogical and unrighteous. It's like a prince saying, you know what, instead of going and taking my throne and sitting on my throne, I'm going to go in the backyard of the Euro-Gentiles and keep demanding from them what I feel like I'm owed. No, that sounds noble and beautiful, but in the end, it's foolish, it's folly, and it's ignoring God and saying, well, God, you can't bring me back to prominence and power and blessings and honor and riches. I've got to still knock on the back door in the yard of the man who oppressed me. That's like a woman saying, my husband beats me and abuses me, but because he's nice sometimes and gives me a couple of dollars and kisses me on the cheek, I'm going to stick with him, even though it's happened 1,001 times. So we must come to a crossroad within ourselves. Stop blaming the Euro Gentile whites, and stop allowing your children to feel abandoned, because it's the older group of us that should be teaching them to prepare to make an exodus. And a lot of us watch too much TV, so we're afraid to even go outside of America, when there are many countries who treat us with great honor and respect because they know our history. They know it actually better than we know it ourselves. I have been to several countries, and I was amazed at how I was treated. I'm like, oh my God, why are we wasting our time trying to force people to respect us, when all we have to do is take that opportunity that now has been given us. We're free. There's no fetters on our necks. There's no fetters on our arms. There's no one with a gun saying, you know, you got to stay on this plantation any longer. So I feel like we're doing an injustice to ourselves and to the European Gentiles if we continue to stay here, when in actuality the word says in Revelations, come out of her, my people. In other words, come out of the future Babylon, which is America. Come out of her, so that you will not be partaker of her curses and the destruction that God is about to bring on this land. And that means for anyone who trusts God and who's seeking him with their whole heart, you must pray and ask God what it is he wants you to do, because I truly feel soon and very soon America is going to meet with a great catastrophe. God has shown it to me in visions and dreams, and I truly believe he's trying to warn all of us to prepare, not to prepare to hunker down and get some kind of little food stored up, because guess what, your food won't do you a bit of good if the ground opens up under you and everything drops in. Your little food will be buried right along with you. So I'm telling you, we must be wise people. We have gone too long on the traditions of men, whether it's the traditions of groups that, even the groups that are saying today, Black Lives Matter. Yes, they matter, but it doesn't matter whether you want to stay here and fight that fight that is not your fight, or you want to listen and obey God and change the outcome. I hope you join me for the next segment, and I thank you for joining me for this one. And we will be coming back again with another word for you, and I pray that you'll be blessed to continue to seek the truth while you have time. Goodbye.